Hi everyone. Today's Friday Find is with the amazing Bread by Chelsa B. And I am here with the fabulous, talented Chelsa herself. Chelsa is one of my very dear friends, and I have just absolutely loved watching the transformation of this little hobby that you had of baking bread, and you have turned it into a phenomenal business that is basically famous because everybody in town wants to get their hands on the most delicious bread that you bake. Okay, so you took this hobby that you had of baking bread, and obviously you now have this incredible business. Tell everybody watching a little bit about your story and how you got started.
Well, first, thank you so much for being in my home bakery today. So back in December of 2019, I was given a sourdough starter by my mom. We'll grab her over here. This is Goldie, or actually this is Gloria. Gloria is my OG sourdough starter. I have 3 now, which is highly unnecessary, but very fun. I started baking sourdough as a hobby, and then we hit the pandemic, and we all had a lot of extra time at home, so I would work during the week at my full-time job and then bake bread on the weekends. And I became what I like to call enthusiastically obsessed with bread. I would go to bed thinking about bread, and I would wake up thinking about bread. And as the year rolled on, I just kept baking and baking and baking. And then I started giving away bread to friends. I started giving away bread
we all loved that we got to taste test your OG bread samples because we feel like we were a special part of your business being started.
Yes, it was super, super fun. And then people kept asking, like, what are you doing with this? Like, is there a plan? And my partner and I started talking, and very slowly we kind of developed a business plan to see what we could do with this. And so in December of 2020, I officially launched Bread by Chelsa B. So I started selling bread to the public out of my home in January of 2021. Launched my website, got my LLC, and then spent most of 2021 just getting out there, doing pop-ups, doing markets, doing pre-orders out of my home, and just really hit the ground running last year. And now here we are in February of 2022, and doing lots of really fun stuff with the bread.
So obviously your bread, you're a small home bakery. Your bread is not necessarily in abundance everywhere. So can you tell people, how do they get their hands on your bread?
Yeah, so I do small batches, and when I refer to small batch, I mean anywhere from 20 loaves to 100 loaves. I do bake weekly, and I deliver to Dog Patch on Wednesdays. The farm stand's open from 10 to 3. And so
every Wednesday you can go to Dog Patch Urban Gardens, and there will be bread there.
Yes, you can get
until it sells out.
Sourdough pan loaf, which is just basically my sourdough recipe just in a pan. So it's really nice for sandwiches or cutting or with soups. And then you also get the infamous rosemary and sea salt focaccia, which is very, very good. So both of those are available every Wednesday at Dog Patch. I also offer pre-orders on my website, usually once a month. That's when we do more specialty items like the seeded sourdough or the chocolate chunk sourdough, or sometimes we do sourdough donuts or cardamom.
What was the one I loved so much? Was it jalapeno cheddar?
Jalapeno and cheddar. So I try really hard to do seasonal ingredients. So I work a lot with local farmers, local dairies, the local honey makers, to make sure that we're really supporting the Iowa community. And making sure that the bread that we're making is seasonal. So unfortunately at this point we aren't doing a jalapeno and cheddar because we don't have fresh jalapenos, but when we do, we'll get it to you. So
so that's a good point about collaboration and being sure that you're keeping things local and supporting other Iowa producers to help make your bread. But the other thing that I found so fascinating about your business is that you have really teamed up and gone into collaboration with other small businesses to do pop-up events.
Yes, that's one of my favorite things about this world that I live in, this micro bakery, cottage baking community, is that everybody is so collaborative, so supportive. For Mardi Gras, I'm doing a partnership with Pie Bird's Pies. So we're doing sourdough donuts Really, really fun flavors. They go live March 23rd. So again, this may be filmed afterwards, but working with those other businesses to help support each other, working with Dog Patch Urban Gardens, working with Thistle Summit, and working with
Rose
Farms, helping to support each other, helping to collaborate, helping to lift one another up. I feel like I have all these different coworkers, all these different colleagues throughout the city, just the way that everybody comes together, supports one another, really lifts each other and builds one another up. It's been honestly the best part of what I do. I love making the bread, but being able to work together within the community of Des Moines, even outside of Des Moines, and just really hone in on the abundance that exists here, it's been incredible. Food insecurity has become something that's become really important to me in understanding how to make sure that all people have access to healthy food. So I recently just added something to my website called Donate a Loaf. And right now, as I build my business, I'm not in a place where I can donate all of my time and all of my money. So Sarah, you could go on my website and you could go purchase a loaf of sourdough, and I would go put that in a food pantry or into a community fridge. So that's going to be evergreen on my site at all times. So once a week I will bake all the loaves that have been purchased and then go put those into community fridges like a Sweet Tooth Farm fridge or even the community pantry that is by Dog Patch.
Maybe we can get a pantry in front of my office.
Yeah, so making sure that everybody has access to healthy grain and healthy bread. I use all organic flours in my bread and make sure that we're using those local produce, local grains. So we're ensuring that we're optimizing like the nutrients that we can get to people.
That's incredible. Well, I will be sure to link everything, all the ways that you can order bread, follow Chelsa, see all the incredible things that she's doing with her website, her social media, and everything else. So thank you. Thank you for all you do.
Thanks for being here.
Obviously, I love you. I love your bread, but I love everything that you're doing.